Good morning. It's Pam. Welcome to Misty Willow Cottage. Today it's about the little things. And we've got a bunch of tiny paintings, and they are so much fun to create. And I've even noticed a trend on YouTube and on Etsy for the tiny paintings, and I love that because I've never been able to resist them myself. And so I had ordered some little frames to do some artwork for Etsy, and they are so cute. Some of these are dollhouse size frames, and some are a little bigger for maybe a little small gallery that might want to put together. But I think that it's a fun way to start any sort of art endeavor with something small. And you can create, some ephemera with it, put it together on some journaling cards, or put it in as a tuck in your junk journal, or you can create some little gift cards, or gift tags. You could create some bookmarks. They're still in that kind of small category. And you can just put a little piece of artwork together for a friend for a gift. I mean, it's kind of a fun thing to receive, isn't it? And so we're gonna start today with watercolor painting. I had picked up these little canvases at the Dollar Tree, and I was going to do some oil and acrylics on them. And I thought they were just the cutest little size as well. And they also had some of these little easels in there, and they looked really cute. So it's another way to display it. But anyway, before I did the oil or acrylic, I thought I'm going to try with watercolor on this canvas and see how it comes out. And it actually came out pretty good. I was pretty surprised by that. So that was a fun treat to say, oh, I can do the watercolor on the canvas, because sometimes I like the look of just the way a watercolor painting has a little bit of a washed out sort of effect that's a little different than the oil or acrylics. So there's all those kinds of options, but we're going to start with watercolor paper today. I have a lot of small pieces that I've cut up from my watercolor paper, and I use some Arches watercolor paper. It's a good quality. That I feel like when I'm doing watercolor, I want a good quality paper to work with. That's one of the bigger important aspects that I think is something I always want to do. And we're going to just get our paints, and we're going to get our brushes. I've got some Daniel Smith watercolor paints here that I've put a palette of some of my favorite colors here, and you can get yours. And then I've got my brushes. These are like my favorites for small paintings. I've got a size 8 here, holds a lot of water, but also has a nice point. And I have a size 2 detail brush and a size 2 liner. And the liner is just a really nice way to make your little details, like veins of your leaves or branches or that kind of thing. So anyway, we're going to just pull out our supplies, and let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start with my number 8 brush, and we're going to load it up with a good amount of paint, and we're going to go ahead and create a three full rows composition. The odd numbers are a really good way to have starting with your composition. It just helps keep the eye sort of at rest, in that it feels balanced in its way, even though it's funny that odds don't seem like they're balanced. They really are. And then I'll throw in a little bud or two, which, is a little variation to the whole thing. But what you want to do is you're gonna picture your roses 1, 2, 3, something like that. You want to avoid from going all the way to the top or the bottom. And you start with a little C, and you bring it around, and then you make another C. I try to hold my brush in such a way that you can actually see what I'm doing. Get it? See? Anyway, Um, and then you would just repeat your C's as you go around. Start with a little bit of thin line, and then you press your brush down to make a thicker petal, and then you lift it up to make it thin again. And now you've still got your C or your crescent, but it gets bigger as you go and it gets lighter as you go. And now I'm going to come the opposite way. Thin line, wide line, wide line, and a little crescent. I'll do one more. Okay, that'd be one more layer, I guess is what I was trying to say. And now the next one, I'm going to make a little smaller, but I'm going to go back to the little method of the C. Now, because of a awkward position, I'm just going to switch my side as I bring it around. Okay, and then the third one, we'll just repeat. I find that when I paint small, it gives me a little bit of a freedom or encouragement just to paint. Whereas if it feels like it's going to be a big production, maybe I don't want to start because it just might intimidate me, or I just feel a little bit like I'm overwhelmed. I don't have the time. And so it's nice. And you can paint on, scraps of paper, or you can paint on little canvases, and or even I love to use book page or song page, and I love to paint on those kinds of things. And this is a nice way to, do all, the small paintings, they're a nice way to accomplish a little something, like I said before. All right, I'm going to put a bud up here. Let's see. Not even thinking of doing another bud up here as well this time. And then maybe I'll do a third one, and I'll keep the law of thirds going. And then I'm going to add in a little bit extra at the top. It seems to me that a lot of times those roses have a little extra color at the tip. I'll lighten the base, pull up some of that color. And now we're going to do our leaves. Kind of same principle. You start small at the tip and then press down a little and pull up quickly. I'm going to darken this. I want it to make it a little more doable. A little bit easier to see. actually like to try to leave a little opening there for the veins of the leaf to show. And you can even add just little bits of jagged edge for, depending on the leaf, if you want to make a smooth leaf or leave it more jagged. It shows up beautiful either way. I just kind of pull it out a little bit to give it a little jagged look. And again, you can do it however you want. It's nice when you're set free in art not to feel this struggle of, is this right or that right? But do what you see, follow the directions, and then let it become your own way. Yeah, it's good to learn from other people, and then it's good to take what you learn and put it into your own style. So for the buds, we're going to add the little outer sheath, the little leaf sheath that kind of covers that. Seems like the base of those buds, they have a little bit of a rounded area, and then the stem comes out of that. Okay, and if you decide you didn't want to leave an opening to show your veins, you can even, in fact, I'll get my liner. I've loved learning the liner because it's just so amazing. Just a little delicate touch and you can make the little details. You don't need much. Just a little light suggestion of it is good. I can't decide if I like it better with the line or with the white to show it, but you have both options there. And I think I'll just clean up this a little better right there. I don't really like the messiness of it. Okay. And that's the first one. I'm not, I don't have it as well proportioned for this one's a little better proportioned, but you get the idea.